Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... What am I talking about? Not another episode, an episode of Pixelmon. Now you might be wondering why I'm doing yet another Pixelmon series. The original one is so iconic on my channel. Well, because that's not the original. My first Pixelmon is technically the first Pixelmon series I ever did, but is the second to air. And the second reason, which is related to that one, is because my first Pixelmon, how to put this, it's having problems. I don't know what's going on with one of the videos, but the syncing is off, the actual footage itself keeps on glitching on me, and it's taking a long time to process. Therefore, something recorded as directly as this, where the actual recording itself is a little more mediocre in quality, but at least is synced up properly and can actually be processed and produced, and is up to date with the current state of the mod, I think was something that was worth presenting. Now, I'm playing here on a server, so I already have a couple of things already lined up, which for some reason are not in the slots of the inventory that they would correspond to. But in any case, what we have now is the chance to go ahead and random teleport because we're stuck on this island otherwise. And we are now in a safe location, which apparently is the middle of a battle arena. Okay, bit of an odd choice, but I will roll with it nonetheless. As long as I can, generally escape the area. Usually these chests are protected by people who claim the immediate surroundings. Or not. I guess they're just... that's a temporary setting. In any case, I know that on some servers, one of the reasons I'm playing on one is that you can get apricorns from different trees. Although last time I did that, it was from oak trees, not acacia trees. And apparently someone has apricorns right here. So not that any of that actually matters, I thought that was just the different system. I apparently unlocked the recipe to a boat by standing in water. Logic. Anyway, I'm following my usual rule, whereby I collect apricorns, but I don't remove their source, so everything can be reclaimed just as it was before. And look, they already seem to be growing back, actually. Oh, no, that was just how they look now. The texture seems so different, especially when you compare it to my first Pixelmon. It's definitely quite something, taking that into account. But oh well, enough of that, it's time to establish ourselves. And I think it's safe to say we should not be in a desert savanna area, because that was the setting for almost the entirety of the last Pixelmon series. And I don't want this to be an exact repeat of it. I'm also playing on this server because apparently there's gyms and things. However, I don't know any of the warps to them. Is there a /warp option? Does that not work? Oh, list. Okay, maybe there are no gyms. Huh. Well, that's certainly dampened the mood a bit. How many move tutors are there in these versions? Maybe I'll come back in a different server, I'm not sure. Seems like I may need to. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Okay, and I'm back. I have the exact same set. This is the place where you can get apricorns from the trees. Now, even so, there's still the same issue, which I think is, you know, warp options, and how no gyms seem to appear. Oh, wait, no, they do. They do. Gyms. Ah, so you can actually travel to them relative to their own positions from each other. Ah, I like this. This is a good idea. The Master Gym and the Steel Gym are remarkably close to each other. Look at the coordinates. That's 30 blocks distance in one direction and 10 in the other. In any case, it doesn't actually say what gym you're supposed to go to first. So I guess I can try and see which one is in here, which one is better relative to my position. I am currently the closest out of all of the gyms to the ice gym. However, that gym... Oh, wait, no! No, I'm closest to the steel gym. So I guess that one should be my first area to approach? Yes, I think so. Let's head in the general direction. I know that you can warp there, but I think it would be actually better for the sense of adventure to carry on in the manner that all of the characters in the anime itself would have travelled, which is of course on foot. Now, the other reason that I'm playing on a server is because I might be joined by some people somewhere along the way. However, this is nowhere near being confirmed, because no one actually responds to me when I ask them to do Pixelmon. And trust me, I have tried. I'm inclined to see what that random block of redstone is, but I think it's best not to inquire about that. Interesting formation. No water Pokemon. That's a shame. Everyone knows that I do like capturing water Pokemon such as Magikarp, as I did in the last Pixelmon series. Oh, apparently there's a ravine. It's probably already been thoroughly explored by people who arrived here sooner than I. So I'm going to go up and just carry on walking. I think I'll probably end the episode once I engage in some sort of battle. I'm not sure which one. Also, if you're wondering what server I'm on the Yoto server. That also reminds me, I do need some iron. Desperately so. And you might be thinking, but just look for it in that ravine. Well, the thing is, this area has been so charted that I sincerely doubt that anything has not been explored around here yet. Therefore, I think it best if I just carry on in the direction that I need to go, which is slightly further back from here. And this way. This way about 4,000 blocks, so 4 kilometers. Fantastic. Another thing I have to investigate is what kind of apricorns drop from different leaves, because if they're all red, then that's fine. But then how will I get the... I guess they're not all red, because I just because blue apparently spawn not only this, but it seems that if you destroy the tree itself, then you get those apricorns anyway. This requires a test. I mean, why wouldn't it? This is too much of an opportunity to squander. Am I using that term properly? Squander? Well, to not take advantage of, in any case, whatever the word may be. Oh, okay, but just, pause my game. Nothing like my first Pixelmon, where the lag was so severe that it actually impeded the gameplay on several gruesome occasions. Seems that I already have Great Balls anyway. So the fact that these give blue apricorns is slightly inconsequential because I already have the main creation that I would require them for, with the exception of heavy balls, of course. Right, we've seen how they disappear around you. So let's just go ahead and not waste any more time and get rid of these. There we go, one last sapling. Which reminds me, both those trees need replanting. If you've ever watched a Pulsaurus Jr. video, then you know that he is quite adamant about all trees, or saplings really, being replanted. And you know what? I can kind of see where that's coming from. Restoration of the wildlife and all. Speaking of Pulsaurus Jr., you might have noticed that Tales of Sir Nicanorth kind of is like his gameplay of Tale of Kingdoms. That's because that's the first Minecraft roleplay that I watched and was so invested in. And yes, that includes things like Minecraft Diaries and My Street. I was a fan of Paul's before I was a fan of Sky's, before I was a fan of Aphmau's. It just kind of gravitates between, between different people slightly over time. You know that I've been doing YouTube for 5 years, but I've been watching YouTube for not longer before. Maybe sometime around 2012, I think, is when I started really watching YouTube. Becoming an active user. Only attempting to create my own things a year later. Something I would grow to regret because of things like Harry Potter Style, my first ever parody. Well, actually, no, not my first parody, but my first since I decided to take it up, which was done around the time of Gangnam Style's release, which of course is 2012. Had I done that, I would have probably established a rather different following to the one that I have today. Which I guess is not really much of a regret, more than it is a what if. Although that does beg the question, not beg the question, that's a bad expression. That does raise the question, would I then have had the same amount of circumstances that would lead me to create the truth about Travis and thus gain a follower base from Aphmau, because even be a fan of Aphmau in the first place, there's a possibility of that. So maybe it did work out for the better. I mean, I get criticism for using Aphmau for views, but that's not really entirely the case. Yes, every Aphmau video that I make gets more views, obviously, but it's done out of a genuine place of actually caring for for every series that she does and actually being a genuine fan. I am very much aware that it has been several long minutes, 16 minutes in fact, as far as my recording goes, and I have achieved absolutely nothing. The thing is that for some reason in servers, depending on the times themselves, affects the spawn rates of Pokemon, which is awful. I mean look, there's someone going, it's a Pikachu fighting a Mozarek in the bug gym, and yet that would be fantastic to see, but there are absolutely no Pokemon around. Why on earth is that a thing? Again, in the last Pixelmon series, it was a thing because of an update glitch that I had, but in this instance, it's the server that has the actual problem, therefore making it a lot less acceptable for this to be an actual issue. Well, can't expect everything to run smoothly, or much at all, if that matter of fact. I guess that it would be a good idea to find a place to settle down and actually establish a base, so that way at the very least I'm actually secure. I don't know. Well, I guess there's nothing much to hide from here. Going back to Sky, I think someone made a joke in his collab series that the only threat really in Pixelmon is fall damage and people. And I guess that's kind of true. Speaking of fall damage, see if I can avoid it. I did. Right, well this is a rather boring first episode. There were absolutely no battles at all. But I don't want this to really be longer than it is now. And let's face it, all my good videos are 18 minutes long anyway. No, seriously, check back, it's always a thing. So if you love me, leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters. And on that note, until next time, farewell.